Hello there guys, Elita Legionarii here, and I am here at Total War Rome 2. It's been quite a while since I've actually done anything for Total War Rome 2, but I have a really fantastic battle here for you. I know Attila Total War is the big thing at the moment, being the new Total War, but I'm still going to be playing Total War Rome 2, I'll still be playing other Total Wars. And it's been quite a while since I've actually brought you anything from Total War Rome 2, a number of months in fact. But I have a couple of really nice battles here for Rome 2. I'll probably play in a little bit of Rome 2 at the moment. I'll play a bit of other Total War. I want to keep the mixture up there. I'll have some Medieval 2 for you real soon as well. But I just thought, you know, I like to provide plenty of different Total Wars, different base. I'm certainly better at Rome 1 and Med 2 than I am at the others, but I'm still pretty solid at the others, so I can bring you a nice base of all the Total War games. So that's why I'm basically bringing this battle to you here today. Hopefully you can also notice that my voice is much louder and much clearer and easier to hear than it was in kind of the last couple of vids. That's because I've gone out and brought myself a mic. And it's working nicely. My other mic, I went out and actually bought a couple, and my PC didn't even detect them in the microphone settings, so it's taken me quite a while to get this sorted. But I definitely have it sorted now, so I'll have good voice quality for you as well, and there shouldn't be any background noise at all. Anyway, let's load up this battle. This was a really close one. This was a one that me and the SwedishLandsknekt did with another guy called Slypear. It was really, really close. And I took command of the Odryssian kingdoms, the Thracians. And for us, our ally ended up leaving the country. And we managed to pull off, I don't give too much away, but it was an incredible comeback. Well for us. I really like those battles, sort of like kind of dramatic in the sense that and then all of a sudden you manage to pull off something, and it's one of those kind of battles here. So I took the Odryssian kingdom, Swedes took the Seleucids and Egypt. So my plan is, let me just pause it, because I want to explain a few things here, because I know most of my viewers are not Rome 2 viewers. Some of you are, some of you know what I'm going to talk about, but a faction like the Odryssian Kingdom, the Thracians, they've got similarities. If I'm going to be, it's hard to compare Rome 1 and Rome 2 because they're so different. But the Odryssian Kingdom would be best and easily matched up with, or kind of linked up with, Germania from Rome 1. It's similar to that. Like, as far as Rome 1, Rome 2 can be could be considered similar, because they're not really similar at all. But in the essence that the Thracian type units that the Odryssian Kingdom have are very much used in a way that's similar to the kind of like the Chosen Axemen and the Berserkers and the Night Warriors and things. They don't have scare effect like Germania. Their Swabies do have the scare effect like Germania, but they have the really high melee attack, weapon damage, high charge, but like no armor and no defense. They're hugely vulnerable to cavalry. They're hugely vulnerable to missile units, but they are very, very good at like causing mass routs if they get into the flank, and with their enormous attack damage and everything like that, they do serious damage, but they're not so good if they get hit up by missiles or cav. So it's similar to Germania in the sense that Rome 2 is. I mean, obviously it's not going to be really similar. Anyway, if we look at my build, my general is a Thracian Raw Cav. This is a very good heavy melee Cav. It looks pretty sweet too. I've got two of those, General and then the other unit. Now, the reason I put him in the General in this Cav unit is the only other unit I can put the General into are the Thracian Nobles. These guys are an absolutely awesome melee unit. Very vulnerable to missile fire though. They get chopped up by missiles pretty quickly, but they've got huge attack, huge weapon damage, massive charge, pretty damn high morale and everything as well. They kill real heaps real fast, but they're very vulnerable to missiles and cav. And I know that they'll get targeted by missiles and cav, so if my general was in them, he might get killed quite quickly, so I didn't want that to happen. So that's why I put him in the cav. So I got 4 of those anyway. I've also got 3 of these Thracian Peltasts. Thracian Peltasts are awesome. They have such high missile damage. These guys can just wreck infantry if they just get enough shots into them. These guys are very devastating. So they're not very strong if they get caught out in melee, although this one's not too bad actually. It's got 55 health. 30 armor's not great, but it's got some pretty okay stats here. It would hold out against some lighter cav for a while, while other units peppered it and freed it up. So they're pretty good melee, javelin unit. The rest of my army consists of, out on the left wing, I've got these 3 mercenary hoplites and 2 mercenary veteran hoplites. Previously, the mercenary veteran hoplites were not available for Thracians. I'm really glad they are, because these guys are really good hoplites. They have great armor, pretty good morale, some good melee defense, and some pretty good holding power. It helps the Thracians, because the Thracians don't have any good holding infantry. It's all kind of shock infantry that's very vulnerable to missiles. So having these hoplite units act as like a defensive holding wall is quite useful. And then I've also got 5 of the standard Thracian warriors, which again are kind of almost like glass cannon units. Very destructive, very powerful, but terrible melee defense, and armor is very low as well. But very destructive on the charge and in melee, as long as they're not getting shot at or taking javelins or getting hammered by cavalry. So that's my army. Now, obviously, I'm going to be hanging in the flanks in the back here, while my 2 opponents take the brunt of the melee, and I look for some flanking actions to cause a rout. So you need good, strong holding infantry for that. So one of our opponents has taken Rome. Rome is always extremely superior in terms of infantry. He's got like armoured legionnaires, eagle cohorts, and some praetorians, and some triarii, and plenty of missile units. We told him to bring plenty of missile units, so he's got 5 missile units, 3 auxiliary Syrian archers, 2 Balearic slingers. He's got a couple of auxiliary cav, and of course he's got a general bodyguard for his general. And then lots of heavy infantry. This is going to be a great holding force. Rome takes a long time to kill, because its infantry is great. And another faction for that that's good for that is Sparta. The Spartan hoplites are exceptionally good hoplites, better than the average. And I've actually, just to point out, guys, you may notice I've obviously got the Rome Total War music running in the background from the first game, because Rome 2's music isn't particularly good. But I've also got a mod on that reskins both Sparta and Rome, because I don't like the base look of and the base look of the skins in the game. So the Spartan hoplites here got the proper muscle caress, not the sort of linothorax, even though I think they probably would have used the linothorax, but I prefer this look anyway. And it just gives the units a bit more variation. So Swedes has got a line of these guys here, and plenty of these Spartan hoplites up front, which with a few upgrades are going to have great holding power. But he's also got here he's got a Royal Spartan as his general, and they look pretty damn awesome, if I do say so myself. Again, with this reskin, they just look much better than they do in the base game. And he's got a Heroes of Sparta here. The Heroes of Sparta just looks fantastic, amazing. And he's got Pyroikoi spears, and he's got a mixture of Cretan archers and Rhodian slingers. Because I have no good missile units available, at least like long range missile units available, and I need plenty of cover. So these guys have got plenty of missiles for me, as well as strong infantry, and I'll look for a flank to support them. If we look at Rome here, as you can see, like, look at these Praetorians. They look absolutely friggin' awesome. These reskins are fantastic. I love them. They're fantastic. Again, like the Romans, they just look different. The armored legionnaires have got like the blue shields, and they're it's just more variation, more look, more appeal. The Triarii here, absolutely fantastic. And here's some eagle cohorts. Look at those. They look absolutely awesome with that gold armor with gold on the shields, red capes. I love it. It's awesome. Anyway, let's go to slow motion. Our opponents are playing as the Seleucid Empire, Egypt and Rome, as I said. The Seleucid player brought a lot of missiles, a lot of Syrian heavy archers. I think he brought 6 or 7 of them. And he's got a Hellenic cataphract for his general here. Looking pretty sweet. I haven't got reskins for all the units. I must admit, this rain looks fantastic. And with my new PC, I'm able to crank Rome 2's graphics up a lot more than my old one, which is nice. A couple of Citizen Cav, which are not particularly good. I believe they got the name Shitizen Cav these days, which I find amusing. Then he's got a very... looks like he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... looks like he's got 5 Silver Shield swords... No, 6 Thorax swordsmen and 4 Silver Shield swordsmen. So he's got a pretty powerful infantry corps going on here for his guys here. So this is his army. In terms of sheer infantry, we're superior there. The Hellenic infantry, sword infantry, is not great on the current patches. It's not bad, but it's not great. Then the Egyptian player has got Theros spears, thorax swords, and I think what makes Egypt more useful though is because they have. Does this guy have them or not? I think he does have some, but I can't see them. Is the Galatian Royal Guard, which is just like slightly, just marginally slightly worse than Oathsworn, but very nearly as good, which means they're a match for any of our infantry for the most part. They'll be a good match for Rome, and then of course they've got Rome as well, which is sort of revealing now. He's just revealing over here, and his army consists of some Triarii and lots of Eagle cohort. That's A couple of legionary cohorts here. Man, look at these reskins of Roman infantry. It looks awesome. And then look at this Praetorian Guard. Man, these guys look awesome. Fantastic, brilliant. They're going to be really tough, hard to beat. Some more Praetorians here, some Legionnaires, Triarii, Legionary Cav, Equitae, and some more Slingers. So anyway, that's the armies. If we go to the start here, looks like Swedes is going to get off to this pretty aggressively with his Citizen Cav and charge in. Now, I noticed here that the Romans had quite a bit of cavalry and his generals here, so I'm going to charge my Thracian Royal Cav in, see if I can catch his general here. Thracian Royal Cav throws some javelins in, so let's get a nice charge in down here. And look at that Roman cavalry, it looks fantastic as well. Everything looks really brilliant. Anyway, we're going to pour in our spears here. I'm going to try and kill this Roman Cav. Roman Cav is not particularly good, so getting lots of it's not usually a good idea. So we're going to quickly work on trying to take it out, because getting rid of this Roman Cav would be really, really good. Anyway, as you can see, the Eagle cohort come down here, and they get a bit of a terrain advantage on the Spartans, but the Spartans are going to get into hoplite wall, and these guys are going to take some serious shifting. And this is what we want. We want a real holding force over here. At the moment, not much happening on the other flank, but it's quickly engaging over here. I'm pouring in hoplites to try and catch some of this Roman Cav, and we're using my cavalry and Swedes Cav to try and cut them down. Because Roman cavalry really is, it's just a sort of minor supporting force. Rome's all about its infantry, which makes sense in this particular time period. Games like Attila was where Rome had much stronger cavalry. Anyway, as you can see, the Royal Spartans get in here, and they're fighting in over here. Now, the Royal Spartans, pound for pound, are very good. They can take on Roman infantry. It'll be a very close fight between them and Praetorian Guard. I'm just going to turn the music down just a tiny bit, just because it seems very, very loud here to my ears. So I don't know. It might not be for you guys. I'll be able to tell when I go over the video. Anyway, the Roman player, I think, or one of the players, has used one of their abilities. I think that's too soon. You don't need to use it that quickly. But anyway, we're going to quickly engage over here, and I'm going to try and isolate some of these units and cut them off from supporting. And it's going to be a pretty tight fight over here. It takes some time to take them down. Now, this game was quite laggy when we were playing it. In fact, it was very laggy when we were playing it. And our ally here, Rome, he didn't like it. So he basically charges his guys into melee, but at roughly around this point, he quit. So at roughly about this point in the battle, me and Swedes were on our own with an AI versus 3 opponents. So we're at a bit of a disadvantage here. And the terrain was slightly in their favour, just marginally. Let's get some nice close-ups here. Man, this just looks awesome. So yeah, the Spartans are going to act as a holding force right in the middle here, and Romans are going to hurl Peeler and do all sorts of damage up through the centre there, which is going to be pretty awesome. Anyway, what we're trying to do here is Swede's kind of overextended with his Citizen Cav, and I wanted to help him, but there's just way too many Cav there, and I didn't want to waste my Cav, so I didn't do so. Anyway, as you can see, things are grinding down here in the centre pretty extensively, but we do have the advantage in is infantry. Only the Roman player has any real seriously dangerous infantry. Some of the Egyptian Galatian Royal Guards, but I don't think he's got many. I think he's only got about he's got a Royal Thorax Swords, but only the Galatian Royal Guards are a serious threat. So we do have an infantry advantage. Missile wise, it's pretty even. But anyways, I'm trying to get my Thracian nobles to charge in here. But unfortunately, because the AI charged its army directly in front, I don't get much of a charge. These guys really need to get their charge because it's like 63. It's enormous. It's absolutely brutal. But I wasn't able to get it. I managed to get it over here though. It might just be a little bit of lag here. It's probably just because there's so much on the field. Anyway, yeah, I managed to get a pretty nice charge here. I'm getting charged by Cav here. That is not good for my Thracian nobles. But they're really tanky. These are really tanky units. As long as they don't get hit by too many heavy Cav and any javelins too much. Anyway, we're in a bit of a melee around the fight side here. That's just holding. Swedes is holding the centre, so we need to try and win some stuff on the flank, but it was looking pretty bad, to be honest, because they were getting into all the gaps. He got his cataphracts into my Thracian warriors here. This was really bad for me, because his cataphracts will just trash these guys. These guys, as I said, are not good against cavalry, especially heavy shock cavalry like cataphracts. So they're not doing too flash against them, but I do manage to get a few kills nonetheless. We look around here. Swedes is getting into a skirmish position. I'm trying to drive back some of these units here so that we can start pushing around and putting some missile fire into these guys. I haven't got the arrow tools here on my new PC. I'll have to get that sorted so I can use them in the battle. Over here, if we look though, these Thracian nobles, look, they are winning against about several Silver Shield swordsmen and Thorax swordsmen. They're holding their own. That's a testament to how strong they are in the melee. Over here, I'm managing to get some kills going on over here. Some of the AI units start to rout, but at least before our opponent left, he gave them attack orders, so they're actually engaged fighting rather than just sitting around like idiots. Anyway, I decided to get my pelters here, which were glitching and they wouldn't fire at the cataphract, so I decided to change target to this unit over here, this Eagle cohort, because now Swedes is outflanked. They annoyingly run into melee here. Don't know why, it was very annoying. Trying to get them to throw some javelins. I think I was aiming at the cataphracts here, and we're getting a few kills. Cataphracts are vulnerable to javelins, of course, and I'm going to get these guys to hurl their javelins up here. And this is a really heavy Roman infantry unit with a really nice armor and defense stats, and it still gets peppered. Look at that! Do you see those kills there? Just went down by about 30 men, just because these javelins are so high damaging. So that's what we're going to focus on doing there. Get rid of these guys so we can recover this breach in the center. Over here, though. Matters are not so good. My guys are holding out, but I'm heavily outflanked because this AI is not really doing anything. Like, if we just pause for a moment, we've got like 2 infantry units here and the AI's got 4 on them. It's not really doing anything, and I can't do much about it because the AI is terrible. Anyway, over here, some of Swedes guys start to rout, and it's looking pretty bad for us at this stage. We didn't think we were going to win, but we just wanted to stick it out. It's one of those games where we decide to play continuously. Swedes had been throwing some of his Cretan archers into the flank here. My javelins have been throwing in here, and we managed to rout this Eagle cohort. So that worked out real nice. And in the back over here, I must have missed it, but I got my cavalry unit in here. I've killed 100 of his archer units. Which worked out quite nicely before this Roman cav came and reinforced him. My Thracian nobles now, though, we managed to start beating up these Egyptian sword units, and they start to rout, which is going nice. So we had a bit of an opportunity here because Swedes seemed to still held, and we broke through over here, so we're going to try and push through here. The Roman player here recognises there was a potential danger of that, and he pulls back, but that's going to allow us to push in over here. So what we're going to try and do is try and surround these units in the centre here. I've got a strategist general, so I'm using him to just keep beefing up the fatigue levels back to normal for the best units like these Royal Spartans and my Thracian nobles, so that they keep staying fresh, so they can stay in the fight longer. And I can keep using Headhunt. Over here, as you can see, the Thracian nobles are still gunning it out with all these Seleucid infantry and cav units, and they're holding their own still. It goes to show you just how powerful they are in the melee. Just you got to really watch that they don't get too many cav charges, and they've got between 130 to 160 kills, so they're doing really nice. AI opponents getting in all sorts of trouble, so me and Swedes are trying to very quickly wrap the centre up and recover, and we were a bit surprised at this point because we were sure we were going to lose, but as you can see, we are actually going to be able to take out the remainder of these Egyptian infantry. This is the Galatian Royal Guard. We're going to be able to take it out. And we're going to push up here, and we're going to work on surrounding these units here. I was just saying to Swedes, the AI's pinned down 4 units of this Egyptian player, so let's just surround this unit stuff now and kill it while it's isolated. My Thracian nobles over here, I believe, finally give up the ghost, and they are dead, but not after killing about 200, probably about 400 men between the two of them, so they did pretty good. And we win the central fight here, and now it's not looking so impossible for us to win this one. But anyway, as we've got these guys surrounded here now, and we're working on that, we're going to pour the numbers in, pour the pressure on, and we're going to try and kill these guys. There's generals here too, so that'd be good. That would have a really nice morale penalty on them. I need to try and find ways to get these missile units though, the Seleucids, because they could just tear up my infantry, which is very, very weak to missiles, as I've said. But we were very surprised by this point because the battle was very much out of our favour because we were 2 versus 3. I think it was roughly this point that the Seleucid player dropped, so it evened out to 2v2 and 2 AIs. So it's still pretty even, but they had a substantial advantage for the vast majority of the game because they had 3 players versus just me and Swedes. But we had Steam chat and communication here, and we managed to make it work. So Swedes is going to act as a holding force in the centre. We're going to use whatever skirmish we have. The AI is pinning a few units down for us, but it's probably going to get destroyed. But I'm now free to use my cav to help out here, and we've got this Egyptian general encircled, which should enable us to quickly destroy the rest of the Egyptian army for its lower morale. We're to be very careful at this stage of the battle to look after our general. I get my peltasts here, and I'm going to charge them through, see if I can get rid of these heavy Syrian archers, because these guys will be able to beat them in close-up melee like this. But I do have to be a bit careful because I don't want to get engaged on too much infantry units, but I really want to kill his archers because his archers could ruin this for both of us. Some of these silver shield swordsmen though are coming in here, but I'm going to bring my cav around, and I'm going to look for just stray units like this, the large units where I can, and the Egyptian general's starting to rout, which is fantastic, and Swedes is going to pour his men on. I want to get my Thracian nobles in a downhill charge into the back of these guys. That's going to be brutal. That's really going to be punishing for these silver shield swordsmen. Although, actually no, my Thracian nobles must have routed, I think. Yeah, I think they routed, did they? Oh no, here they are. Sorry, I thought they routed there. Thankfully they did not. But me and Swedes are going to win this section over here, so we're going to pull infantry off, so it's still fairly even. But most of their guys are pretty depleted, and these Spartans are still in good numbers, and both of us have got our generals. I think they've lost. I think they've lost all their generals, which is really substantial for us. I'm pretty sure their generals are all dead now. I don't think... Yeah, the Hellenic cataphract got killed around here. I'm not sure what happened to the Roman general. He might have got killed in that melee, and we just killed the Egyptian general before. So me and Swedes have got our generals, they don't, and that's going to be helpful. I see a cluster of archer units here, so I'm going to just make a quick charge in here. Got to be careful, this is my general unit. I don't want to lose my general unit because that would make this much harder. That is one of our few advantages at the moment, and we've got higher terrain. We've got to make use of this now. So I'm going to get a pretty good charge in there, get some charges in. And over here you can see these thorax swords are engaged, so I want to quickly work on trying to take these guys out, run some rear cav charges here. His silver shield swordsman surrounded by Thracian nobles and Spartan hoplites, which is a pretty dangerous combo. My cav units out here, I'm just looking to find more units to shoot at, and I see all these 4 Roman infantry units that could really interfere with this fight and turned against us. So I'm going to see my hoplites over here and just hold it down, because if we can just hold these guys down on the hoplites, which hoplites are good for holding, we'll be able to win over here, get rid of these missile units and take them out. I'm trying to avoid this cav, although I did kill it because my cavalry's a lot better than his. So my cav did win that, but I don't want my general taking unnecessary losses because I've got to get rid of these missile units. Over here I see that Swedes got some these units looking a wee bit like they're wavering, so I'm going to charge them with the back of my Thracian nobles here, and I'm going to send my very depleted cav into the flank here, and hopefully that should cause a bit of a rout. And I'm going to continually use my archers to go and get rid of his missiles, because they can really wreck this, especially for me. But he's surrounded here, and his guys take a pretty nasty beating. These Thracian nobles are over 200 kills now. Using my general's unit here, I'm just going to keep going for his missiles, because this is what's so awesome about the Spartans, is because unlike most other hoplites, they actually do have substantial killing power in addition to holding power. So Swedes is able to kill and hold for a long time, and I can back him up with some nasty, brutal rear charges, and my guys just got to protect them from the missiles. Anyway, I get slightly intercepted by these Praetorian Guard, which is still 2 of them in at least half their numbers. But I'm going to push through and try and kill these missile units, because they could use heavy shot and ruin it for us. They have to be taken out, so I'm using my cavalry to get rid of those as much as I possibly can. Unfortunately, they start to rout, which is fantastic. Now, these Roman units are going to be a nuisance, so I'm going to quickly work and get my hoplites engaged on them. Swedes is going to shoot them, and we're going to get over here and get as many units to hold these Roman units down, and we'll kill these Seleucid units, because we still have superior infantry over the Seleucid infantry. And now with the missiles killed by my cav, it's only a matter of just doing some rear charges, and we'll free them up, and then we can kill and surround these Romans. So it's still pretty close, still pretty up in the air. It's going to be a matter of killing these archers quick enough and getting enough rear charges in. Unfortunately, I was able to kill most of these guys pretty quickly at this stage. But the Roman units are doing quite a bit of damage, but my mercenary veteran hoplites will hold it out with them for a long time, and that's going to be great. And I get some rear charges in here, and these, again, I think the key is we both have our generals, so I'm using my general's abilities to refresh the fatigue levels on Swede's general, and he's using his general to boost all our generals, all our units' sort of general kind of morale all around. He's got the command general, I've got the strategist, and it's working very well. It's enabled us to hold in against much superior numbers for quite some time, and now we're managing to turn it into our favour. And I've got these Roman units pinned down, and some of these Seleucid units, and basically we're just trying to keep the Roman units away while we win over here, and for the most part we are starting to win, although Swedes has got his Heroes of Sparta here. His Heroes of Sparta is very tanky. It is against the Praetorian Guard, and it's got other units coming in, so it's a good thing that's a Heroes of Sparta, and it's holding out like 4 units. Pretty awesome there. And I see that 2 of my units are pinned here, so I'm going to use a quick rear charge with my cav, see if I can get it unpinned here and kill off these thorax swordsmen. Cavalry really isn't that particularly powerful in Rome 2. It's what's kind of interesting with Rome 2 and Attila is like Rome is infantry, Rome 2 is infantry, Attila is cavalry, so it's kind of interesting that way. But I managed to start getting the units to waver a little bit, and I'm going to try and hit up through the centre here, because these guys are pinning several of his Spartans, and I want them free to take on these Romans, because his Heroes of Sparta will die. Like, his Heroes of Sparta is going to hold for a while because it's got really high morale. Very, very good unit. But it's fighting 4 units, and some of them are Praetorian Guards, which the Triarii actually start to rout, but Swedes is now free to hit these guys in the back. At this stage, we managed to rout the remaining Seleucid infantry over here, and now these guys actually mass routed. So there we go. We come away with a costly victory after what was, for all intents and purposes, a pretty unbalanced game against us. I mean, we were fighting 3 versus 2 for probably 75% of that battle, so it was pretty sweet to be able to come back from that. So if we look at the stats here, both me and Swedes are really high on the kill. Swedes 1800. Let's have a look at his guys here. One of his citizen cav got 116, nice. Royal Spartans 124. His missile units absolutely cranked the kills, which is really good. Hold on, let me just get my mouse back up onto the table. There we go. And let's see, his Spartans, they didn't get heaps of kills, but they were so critical because they held the centre for ages, which allowed us to win in other sections of the fight. But he's still got a substantial amount of kills all round. If we look at my kills, I got away with the most. Let's see. Both my cav units got over 200 kills. Most of those were missiles and getting a few rear charges at the end. A couple of these Thracian pelters, as I said, they just tear up infantry if you get them in right. One of them glitched like crap. This one, I couldn't fire it. But this one was good. These two were good, rather. Got between them over 200 kills there. I think they actually might have got up. Yeah, they got over 200 kills between the two of them. The hoplites, this one did well. 60. These mercenary hoplites getting 60s against Romans. That's actually pretty good for them. They did their job. They were a holding force, just a token infantry force, just to act as a holding force. And as you can see, the Thracian nobles, 286, 214, 171, 143. And this was against like Silver Shield swordsmen and Thorax swordsmen together, so they definitely paid for themselves. This Thracian warrior got 140, but the other ones didn't do very well, to be honest. You really need to get them into a flanking position. I couldn't get them into a flanking position, but I just add them as infantry support for Swedes. Didn't get much, but they helped them at least. And even the AI, as you can see, did actually pretty good. Like, Roman infantry is really good, or always really good anyway, and it did do pretty good. Our opponents, let's see, the Seleucid player got tons of kills with his archers. His Cataphract got a bunch. And to be honest, his Silver Shield swordsmen did very well, and they're usually not the best infantry unit to work with. The Thorax swords didn't do great, except for this one, but the Silver Shields did surprisingly good. And the Egyptian Galatian Royal Guard, as you see, did very good. He should have just had more Galatian Royal Guard. The Theros Spears was a good idea, though, because my guys are really vulnerable to javelins, but he never got a chance because I never gave him the chance. And we look at this Roman player, again, very sort of similar to our AI. So one has to say it was a very, very good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very frustrating at the time, and it was a bit laggy, but once we were really amazed how we were able to turn that one around, and I really enjoyed it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It was fun to come back to Rome 2. I will probably upload a few more Rome 2 here and there. And of course there's Attila, and I'll have Med 2, and I'll cover all sorts of Total Wars. Hopefully the new mic is good. It sounds good. Hopefully you're not getting any background noise. I don't think you will be. Hopefully my voice is nice and clear. Hopefully it was enjoyable. Hope you enjoyed the battle, guys. I'll link Swede's channel, of course. If you haven't seen it, do go by and check it out. It is a great channel. I hope you enjoyed it. I did, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon next time.